Okay, here. Okay, here. See if I can figure this out with the actual laptop this week. Okay. See if anybody shows up for the chat. Hi, Ezekiel. Looks like you're the first one here. So last week, or the last one I did was on my phone, and this time I'm doing it actually on the laptop, and you have to download encoding software and get it all to sync up and everything. So yeah, it was a bit of a challenge. I think I finally got it though. There seems to be a bit of delay from what I see and from what is actually going on around here. So, okay, but if I go to the other screen, then I can't see what's going on. Okay, so it's me just playing with it. Anyway, so let's see if I can get to the bottom of this. Okay, well, good evening, everybody. And there's like David Hodges, Dean Cooling, Patrick McGuire, Maximum Toon, Brian Colsty, Daniela Angelillo. How do I pronounce that? Sorry. So I wanted to talk to you guys tonight about the government cover-up. I don't know that much about it, as any Bigfoot researcher doesn't know that much about anything with this subject, but I have heard quite a few things, and I'm willing to share those with you guys and pass them along. Like I said, I'm by no means a expert at this, but I do think there's some things I can pass along, stuff I've heard, people I've talked to. I've talked to people who've had firsthand some firsthand knowledge of what it's like to be silenced. And as much as a lot of Bigfoot people scoff at the UFO um, world, I think it's something we can really learn from them. Is all the government cover up, hush hush stuff about aliens and UFOs and top secret bases, and even just the military in general with top secret aircraft and everything else. So I think kind of a lot of it pertains. You hear a lot of kind of the same stuff, although kind of not to the same level, I think, with Bigfoot. But also, yes, Dick Richards, I do believe they are all connected as well. There seems to be, there are no coincidences. There seems to kind of be the triad of ghost and paranormal stuff and hauntings and demons, and then you have the cryptids and animals and strange things people find in the woods, and then you have all the alien UFO stuff. And yes, I do believe it is connected. I needed some rational, sane conversation after watching Peter Kane's videos. He's great. He's like the ultimate Bigfoot troll, isn't he? He just kind of like puts it all out there, and he's like, I'm going to screw with these guys, and if I get a lot of views out there, if I get a lot of support, I get a lot of hate. Um, yes. So I think Peter Kane's hilarious, and no, I don't think any of his stuff is real. But I do think it's quite hilarious. I think the government has DNA evidence on Sasquatch. I would say they most certainly do. They know exactly what these creatures are, and I think that probably goes down to why they don't want this evidence out. Is I think they know in their DNA, they know at their core that these animals, these creatures, have something in them that's not quite human, not quite ape, whether it be some like to think some kind of a Nephilim or fallen angel, and other people think that, some kind of alien species. Sorry, something just popped up on my phone. That was actually pretty funny. James, give real Matt Squatch a horse mask. If any of you guys know what that's in reference to. Yes. So, do you think Sasquatches in Sam Houston Forest are considered aggressive? I've heard quite a few aggressive encounters there. I think just like all wild animals, they have the potential to be aggressive. You think the government, Sasquatch, and Dogman chip, do they move around? I think they probably do. I think if they have an alpha or family group that would, instead of having, if you got a pack of 30 of them or a clan of 30 of them in a Bigfoot, probably worth it to trap and tag one, and you know it's going to move with the group, so you'd have a pretty good idea of where the group is. Um, Dick Richards, kill all the troublemakers, man. Yeah, I think that's probably what they do. Um, yeah, LOL, I caught the horse mask. Caught that reference. Yeah, if you guys know anything about that, that's pretty funny from my time at You Had Me at Bigfoot podcast. Sasquatch, have you heard those stories? Abuse, military, hunting Sasquatch. Do you think those are fictional or actual accounts? I do believe those are real accounts. I think some maybe have been embellished over the years. I think some people maybe make things up or they heard from a guy or a guy, but I do think it does happen and I do think it's real. I do think it's real. I do think they, from time to time, these things are the best hunters in the world. And I think the best thing you can do is call in the military, people who are used to going into caves and dark places and using night vision and thermal vision and working as a team. It's the only people really you could do it with. Sasquatch, you heard the stories about military hunting Sasquatch, about better squatching in Anza Borrego area or Big Bear? Oh, Big Bear area. I think Anza Borrego at night, you might get a few that move through there seasonally. Uh, I've heard they are in Anza. There's a lot of weird stuff. Anza Borrego is with the ghost lights and all the train wrecks and the big skeleton that's supposed to walk around. Anza Borrego is a weird place. In general, paranormal, I would go to Anza Borrego. But if you're looking for Big Bear or looking for Bigfoot, I'd try Big Bear. Do you think Sasquatch is erectus, which could explain at least part of the cover up? I think they have some human in them, maybe some throwback. If that was the whole reason, I don't think they would cover it up. They would just go, yeah, it's a known species or part of a known species. Um, I actually thought you were doing a vid on the connection between lights in the sky and Sasquatch. Yeah, I've done a few in the past. I'll probably do more in the future. Dogman, you either want to weaponize it or it's military created. From what I've heard, the Dogman's been around for thousands of years. Some military at some point might have created them because they just seem so unnatural. The Dogman picture is a gray alien leaning up behind a tree in the Pick and CA video. I believe those pics are real too. Yeah, I think those are real as well. Question if they're actually U.S. military. I've been in the Army and stationed at some places where the military hunted rogues. Question if they are actual U.S. military. Have they been in? Yeah, some of the people I've talked to have shown me their credentials. I know they're in the military for sure. Have shared stuff with me. I know that military bases around them, especially the more rural ones, get a lot of harassment from Bigfoot and UFOs and other strange things as well. So there's one story that Kumbut told the government told people to keep these things off launch sites when they were launching spacecrafts. Yeah, well, they'd probably want to keep everything away. Nothing like, okay, T minus 10, here's Challenger 5 going into space. Oh, and there's a Sasquatch. Yeah, that wouldn't go over well. Okay, let's see here. Dean Cooling, it seems to me that continuous senses that it pertains to dog. Matt, you're freaking awesome. Well, thank you. What do you think about Melba Ketchum's research? I've heard a lot of crazy stories about Melba Ketchum as it pertains to her personally. I don't know what's true and what's not. I've seen some interviews and she seemed like a normal person, but I've heard some really bizarre stuff about her. I don't know what to think. I do think that maybe her work got a bad rap or associated with maybe who she is personally. I don't know. That's something I've been trying to look more into to try to get to the bottom of it. If it's a disinformation thing or they're just portraying this lady as crazy, maybe she really is crazy. But I think there's something to it. There's other people that have done DNA studies too, like David Pilates, and they've concurred that there's a lot of known primate and human in these things, and there's something else that's not. Nice to see you doing more live videos. Thank you. I'm going to try to do one every week. Matt Squatch love the channel. Let's see. Associate talk with the Cattlemen's Association and Wildlife. Talk to the Cattlemen's Association Wildlife. Yeah, I know there's quite a few people that know these things exist. Eastern Oregon Sasquatch Association, he's been messaging me back and forth and in the comments and stuff. He's got a real different view on it too. He's got a small YouTube channel, so go check him out as well. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people in rural environments that just talk about these things like they're a bear or a wolf or anything else. Let's see. Dean Coolin applies a number of cryptids with alleged sightings and Wendigo and so on. Hard any semblance to their myth. Okay. Clan Smith, yes, thank you. You can email me. Thank you very much. You're more than welcome to email me. I'm kind of slow in emails. I'm probably about a week out from getting back to you, but I will back to everybody who emails me. Have you ever had any issues with higher authorities relating to Bigfoot, or you know someone have? I've known people who have. We've been screwed around quite a bit. I've had stuff like weird phone calls and hangups and things like that, and when I was on the phone with Duke and some other people, there was strange stuff going on in the background that we didn't hear in the time, audio things. So maybe they think they keep monitors on me, but I don't think they're actively screwing with me right now. Love your live videos. Hey, Matt, I'd like you to discuss Southern California specifically with you, brother. When's a good time for you? Email me at mattsquatchpresents@gmail.com. We'll establish a rapport emailing back and forth. So mattsquatchpresents@gmail.com. Hi, Matt. Love your videos. How much revenue do national and state parks generate? Oh, it's in the millions, probably in the billions. You got to remember, it's not just when you drive in the gate and pay the fee. It's also when you go in there and buy gas inside the park, or go to a restaurant, or stay at one of the lodges. It all gets funneled in there. So it's got to be in the billions. And national forest, from your camping fees, from your wilderness adventure passes, to your what they charge loggers, and what they charge everything else, and ranchers to graze on there, and everything else. It's in the billions. It's a big racket. Um, Matt, have you heard Carrie Arnold's encounter? I don't recognize the name, but maybe I've heard it. Matt Squatch, considering enlisting, I'm considering enlisting in the U.S. military. I've heard any specific branches or MOS popping up in the accounts of military encounters? Yeah, they're really big guys. Army Rangers, which would be pretty close to top tier, and then above them you have like Delta Force, you have like Navy SEALs, with pararescuemen and combat controllers attached from the Air Force. I've talked to some of them. So yeah, you pretty much got to be some kind of special forces, and work stateside. I don't know the ins and outs from it. I'm sure you could probably track it down, but at the very least, go be a ranger. They're pretty badass anyway. You got to be in good shape though. You think there are very much in the same page, Dogman, as all described as traitors? Yes. What are your thoughts about missing 411 and unusual sightings? I think it's connected. I do not think Bigfoot and Dogman are responsible for every missing 411 case, but I think they're a pretty good suspect in a lot of cases. Some of the missing 411 stuff is too astounding even for one of these cryptids, but some of it, like, hey, they were out there and the person went around a corner around a boulder and was never seen again, and then a week later their clothes or parts were missing. It sounds a lot like a Bigfoot or a Dogman, something with hands. What they were doing with those people, I don't know. Probably eating them, I'm guessing. You're still not on board yet. The government runs the Bigfoot, Dogman, cryptid programs. No doubt doing genetic modifications on these creatures in military purposes. Yes, I do believe they have them, and they're probably doing all sorts of experiments. I do agree with that. And I think that maybe they're creating hybrids. Some of the more weird ones out there might be government created, but the historical records that Bigfoot and Dogman have been around for a long, long time. So it's not like the government created them in the last even 100 years. It goes back way farther than that. Have they taken them and modified them and dumped them back out in the woods? Possibility. I wouldn't put it past them at all. I've heard stories that would support that. How's your hunting this year been, deer? Been slower than normal here. I didn't really go hunting this year. I went out in the woods with this bunch of times this year, but it was with people who weren't really hunters, and kind of given up. Oh, there goes my Fox News. Oh, Obamacare ruled unconstitutional by Texas judge. Figured. Yeah, the hunting really, it's kind of just, I take a hunting license with me and a rifle or a shotgun and a pistol, as an excuse to carry, because it's really hard to carry a gun in California, but if you do it under the guise of you're hunting, then you can do it. So I do get a hunting license, and that's how I carry my guns in California when I'm out in the woods. They're creating super soldiers from the DNA, that's for sure. Like I said, I wouldn't put it past them. The first North American ape live stream chat is awesome. Very advanced knowledge. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Matt, I believe these creatures, including man, are certain individuals and are just as violent to take lone individuals as they are apex predators. I believe that. I believe there's probably assholes and there's probably good ones when it comes to Bigfoot. I think there's certain varieties, like the big patty type, seem to be a lot more tolerant of you banging on trees and doing calls and going out in the woods with them, which I think some of the more southern varieties and wood boogers, you can get away with a little bit, but I think they're a lot more excitable. And I think, yeah, just some are, quiet, reserved hunters want to be alone, and some just have a mean streak to them. Done a lot of deer and bear hunting in the past, face to face with bear ass. um, when do you think a truth from a certain degree will come forth? I think in our lifetimes. By that I mean I'm 35 years old. I think in the next 20 or 30 years, somebody's gonna have crystal clear footage with all the preponderance of phones and video and everything else that's out there. Something's gonna get out, and they're not gonna be able to debunk it. Someone's gonna hit one with a car and have footage, and the footage is gonna go viral, and there's gonna be DNA in a car grill or something, and it's gonna be a gotcha beyond cover up. So yeah. Oh, come here. Come here. Oh, oh. Here's a danger kitty tonight. Last week was the other cat, Daphne. This is Thumbelina. So anyway, goodbye, kitty. You look into ancient Indian tales and explains an awful lot. These people had accounts. Do you think it has to do with interdimensional demonic entities? I think maybe two things are going on. Maybe there's a natural Bigfoot creature, and then I think sometimes maybe demons do take the form of a Bigfoot. Or they could be demonically possessed Bigfoot. I know that's a big theory with some of my colleagues out there, that they think that maybe the Wendigo and some of the more violent ones could be like an empty vessel where a demonic entity could take over. Do you think the linked societies what do you think of linked societies such as MUFON, and a lot of people are losing trust and going straight to channels such as yours? I think with any I did a couple talks for MUFON and then their offshoot UPARs in LA. They're really cool people. They're very nice people. They're very much in their lane. A lot of them, they're like, oh yeah, Bigfoot. But it was talking to a lot of fresh faces, which was refreshing because UFO people, they're like, yeah, of course Bigfoot exists. We believe in flying saucers and alien races and all that stuff. So Bigfoot to them was not a big deal, which was cool, but they didn't have a lot of background knowledge of both groups I spoke to. Like a couple people were kind of into Bigfoot. Not a lot though. Versus you talk to some other paranormal groups and they're into ghosts and hauntings. They're into kind of the whole paranormal world as opposed to focusing on one thing. I think it's just, you got to go to a meeting, you got to pay your dues, you got to go and you got to sit there and they got to organize it and you got to go do all this stuff versus YouTube and podcast forums. It's kind of the new media. While you're bored at work typing, doing data entry, you can listen to one of my videos, or on your lunch hour, but in your 15-minute break, you're flipping burgers, you pull up a Matt Squatch video or anybody else, or you pull out a Joe Rogan podcast or something while you're working on cars or something in the garage. That's probably why the new media is doing so well, even from organized groups. As good as they are, we need those groups. I like those groups, but I think it's just a convenience method, which is why I think YouTube and a lot of podcasts and a lot of other things are really taking off, as opposed to some of these societies and some of these groups are kind of dwindling, which is kind of sad. I think if they met in bars more, kind of the old pub type things, where hey, every Tuesday night we're going to go rent out this beer hall. I think they'd be a lot more fun. Let's see. At Matt Squatch Presents, Brian. Hi, Brian. Brian Colsty. Once there is a full-blown reveal, do you think they will downplay it and make it a page 6 story, or go out and make a special event? I think with the news cycle, now they could probably do it front page, and it would be a big blip, like the fires or the horrible shootings we had here in California at the Borderline bar, the big fires or a hurricane. It's like all huge news for like a day, and then it's back to Trump and all the normal politics. So I think it would be huge news for like a day. And they'd probably do it on a Friday because that's what they do. You bury a big story on a Friday because by Monday you're back to Trump and everything else in the stock market and all the other crazy stuff going on in the world. I don't think they would page 6 the story. They might do like, hey, new evidence showing that, kind of like what the NASA's doing, where every 6 months you hear new, like, oh, we found water on Mars, we found oxygen on Mars, we found a potential for life, and they keep inching closer and closer to saying, yeah, there's actual life out there. I think they'll do that, like, hey, more Bigfoot, more people are encountering Bigfoot, and instead of the And in other news tonight, before we close out, a man thinks he has Bigfoot on his property. The whole cheesy newscast, which I freaking hate. They actually say, take it seriously. And in other news tonight, someone's seeing a strange creature in their yard. They snap these pictures. What do you think? Possible Bigfoot, a bear? Well, we'll let you be the judge. But from the animal experts we've talked to, they say it's no bear. Anyway, if they would just play it straight, which I think they would for a while, and start covering more Bigfoot stories and start having some of these viral photos and videos and stuff go on major newscasts and take it seriously, not as a joke. And then that probably segue it into, the government wouldn't have to disclose it. They would probably just have to let some really good evidence come out that they're suppressing, and then just take it from there. At least that's how I would do it. Somebody right now has good, crystal clear image of a Bigfoot with a body where you can see human proportions, where you can see it sweating, you can see it blinking, walking across the road, behind trees, into cover, where you can tell that it's not CGI, all the big hallmarks, and say, wow. And then have footprints or DNA evidence, or someone's going to shoot one and not have it covered up. They're just going to let it go and have it come out. That would probably be the easiest way to do it. And the government could be like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, well, we're going to have to look into this Bigfoot thing. And they could probably get a pass that way. I'm a firm believer that they are flesh and blood. Me too, buddy. Whoa, okay. How many wildlife over has red eye shine or illumination? Not many. I think it kind of depends on the light you shine at them. Is it possible for Bigfoot and Dogman to mate? Ooh, that would be definitely a show to watch, to try to watch one mate with the other. If that were the case, snowflakes would be hunted to extinction. Watched all your videos at work. Thanks. Yeah, because I remember when I did shift work, you'd have days where you're like not really feeling it. You go hide out somewhere, and the best thing that ever happened was when my work had the whole campus-wide Wi-Fi. Because you're running around, you're tired, you're doing all this stuff, and you're like, I just want to take an extra 10 minutes, sit in a room somewhere, and sip on a cold drink or something, and watch a YouTube video. So that's kind of my channel's kind of a salute to the working class, like that. Entities the Indians say are evil spirits' ability to manifest anything they like and change form at will, I believe, is snatching some people. It could be. Different things going on, a combo of all these theories. Probably more than likely there's a little bit of truth in all these theories. When a body turns up, social media will spread it wide in an hour, and we will forget about it in a day. Sure, their attitude is different, just like people over, this is from Eastern Oregon Sasquatch Association. Sure, their attitude is different, just like people and other animals. The Jar Bridge in North Nevada is a prime example of a very aggressive Sasquatches. The Shoshone are scared to death of it. Yeah, I believe that too. Okay, a guy was stalked to something a few times, once with his dog, acted differently, but I've heard to act before. True pack protecting me. Oh, wow. Okay, that's cool. I believe sometimes it's probably better for them to protect you from other cryptids and let you live than it is let you die and have a bunch of people go looking for you. Everyone in the lunchroom laughed when I talked about Todd in the courtroom. The media ridiculed it. Interesting way they spin the story. I know, Sasquatch and UFOs and strange light in the sky is always a joke, isn't it? Matt Squatch Presents by Clan. I'm just going to call you Clan Sith. Con Kane Sith. Oh, Con Kane Sith. Okay, finally see it. It's little tiny letters, so I apologize. Thank you for donating, by the way. Woodburger Farm, howdy. Hey, Rick. It's nice to see you on one of my live streams. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on. You went on right before I was going to go on, so I don't mean to, step into your live stream things. I know that's mostly what you do. Do you think dash cam will be key? I think a dash cam, although dash cam is they're great for the Bigfoot, like they run across the road. I think it's going to be somebody's cell phone. Someone's just going to, because you could just shortcut key right on your iPhone right to your camera, and then you've got a full 1080p, high definition, ultra 4K camera right at your fingertips. And someone's going to be 15, 20 feet away. They're going to pull it out and start recording and or take pictures. And I think that's what's going to do it. David, all controlled by the devil, bro, not the government. Well, isn't it the root of all evil? Would it be the effect on other cryptids are looked at? Do you think the Dogman, Goatman, and others would be considered valuable? Well, I think if they disclose Bigfoot, it would kind of open the door. to like, well, hey, we didn't think Bigfoot existed. Now people are seeing this dog creature all over the place. And then people are seeing something with goat horns on it, which is probably the real reason why. I think if it was just Bigfoot in the woods, they could probably get away with it. But there seems to be a lot of other things going on. Dick Richards, Janoskwa in Alaska, face eaters in the Northwest Territories are the meanest killers, and people eaters are there. Yes, I believe you don't get a nickname like face eaters by handing out apples. There's an obvious reason Native Americans name certain areas, mountains, forests, the name of evil, like Devil's Canyon, Ape Canyon, that kind of stuff. Yes, there's something. I did a whole video about this a while back. There's something in a name. If you're going into Dark Death Canyon or something like that late at night, you might want to think twice about it. Let's see. Hey, Matt, did you hear one of the Asian countries they mated her with there is a human offspring around 70 years age? Got to find his pics for you. I heard in Russia there was the famous wild woman that they captured, and then her offspring was this kind of throwback looking dude who was real big. Trying to remember. It was some remote village in Russia, though. But yeah, you can send it to me, mattsquatchpresents@gmail.com. Oh boy. Getting a little far behind here. Asian one was in old Russia. Matt, there are numbers that need to petition. Without numbers, we need to petition the government. Trail cam is okay, but need to move forward. Yes, I believe so. But it's the government. We can petition all we want. We could have 10 million people sign it, and they would just say, "Yeah, okay, Bigfoot doesn't exist." What could we do? We're not going to overthrow the government over Bigfoot. Matt, the numbers need to petition. What about Bigfoot parts and Peter Kane's in his freezers? Probably true. Like I said, I think Peter Kane is. He's even said so in some of his videos, if I'm not mistaken, that it's all kind of a big joke. And well, yeah, if it was real, do you think the government would let him put all that stuff out there? Yeah, so I think Peter Kane's just having a go, and I think it's funny. I think he's getting a bunch of views on his YouTube and making some money off it, monetization, and doing kind of a. I think he's like I think he's doing it like a mockumentary type thing. So no, I don't think Peter Kane stuff is real. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I honestly don't think he's. I don't think the stuff he's showing is real. Chimps eat people's faces too. Yes, chimps are nasty. I hate chimpanzees. Actually, most monkeys and gorillas kind of scare me, which is probably why I'm a Bigfoot guy. Okay. James the squirrel. Haha. The time when Sasquatch starts filming us. Yeah. Do you think the cameras are going to the woods hacked by MIBs at all times? I think these things know what cameras are and avoid them anyway. But I think they probably can see photo sensors and thermal imaging. They probably know where your cameras are. And if there's something good, I wouldn't doubt they walk out there, slide it in a laptop, delete the pictures off, and throw the thing back in your camera. I wouldn't put it past them. Or they have some way of disabling your camera electromagnetically, EMP interference or something. I don't know. Make the subject public. I agree. Oh, Peter Kane, it's nuts. Love you, Matt, bro. Well, thanks, Frank. Peter Kane is a master of satire. Yeah, he must have spent a lot of money on all those prop parts. Peter Kane is not legit. Who would have thunk it? Yeah. Is Bigfoot outcasted Native American tribe? They do describe him as a tribe of people. I think because the way the natives had contact with them for thousands of years of trading with them and everything else, that they conversed with them and acted like they were people, just not people in the sense that they were huge. I'm certain that they can see the IR beam. Yeah, me too. They say, well, it's funny because they say like deer and rabbits and coyotes, oh, they can't see the infrared. That's why like every trail camera picture, they're like looking dead at the camera. They totally see it, and I think they can too. Woodbugger Farm. Seen any good porcupine pics lately? Yeah, I have. There's a really good one that someone took the other day, and I didn't know, but it looks like porcupines can walk on their back legs for a couple steps. Yeah. And then apparently porcupines aren't in every part of the country, but Sasquatch isn't supposed to exist either. So yeah, that's Rick from Woodburger Farm. We've been talking about there's this picture going around that they don't want anybody else to analyze. That looks a lot like from the back and it's hard to tell from the scale of it. It's a trail camera photo of something big, hairy on two legs walking. But if you look at it, it looks a lot like a porcupine. If you follow me on Twitter, there's I compared. I posted a couple pictures I found on Google of a porcupine walking on two legs, and it looks a lot like this picture. I'm pretty sure that that's what it is, but I can't say for sure. Um, let's see. Easy on the vino, Haas. Hey, hey, hey! I'm out of beer, so I'm drinking wine tonight. Okay, it's really cheap wine too. Uh, what Bigfoot is Momo? The Honey Island Swamp Monster and the Falk Monster. I think they're probably some kind of derivative of Wood Booger. I think they're like a Type 2. They're all kind of in those areas. Maybe a Type 1, Type 2 mix. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Um, I know the Falk Monster, I think, was definitely a Type 2. The Honey Island Swamp Monster is a Type 2. I'm trying to remember about Momo. I think Momo might actually be more like a cross between a Type 1 or a very big Type 2. There got to be a lot of regional variants, but I think they're mostly Type 2s. Bigfoot is the Nephilim, and so is Dogman all cryptids. It's a very strong theory and what a lot of people think. Hi, Matt Niven. Nice to see you on here. Matt Squatch presents Ryan Tremblay. Is it that the trail cam photo I tweeted at you? Yes, it is. I'm pretty sure it's a porcupine, and we're going to move on. They're a good tool to putter around called to putter box called Google. It gives you all kinds of porcupine info. Yes. Maximum Tune. Do you think Sasquatch understands our language or maybe good at speaking it? The ones that live around cities and live around people's houses and stuff probably pick up some of our language. I think they can sense intentions really well too. So yeah, I think if they hang around enough of us, they would know. I don't think they're born or inherently know our language through some supernatural means, but I think they can guess our intentions. Kind of like if you don't speak Spanish and someone starts shouting at you in Spanish, you kind of get the idea of I should leave or I should stop what I'm doing. I think there's a lot of that. You think Sasquatch is a gentle forest protector or more along the lines of how Wes says, dangerous, scary animals to be avoided at all costs? I think Wes has softened to that very slightly. You'd have to ask him. He's coming up on his 500th show, so Wes, if you're listening, congratulations, buddy. You pretty much got me into this. Wes' show is awesome. Hopefully he's going to do another 500. Hopefully he'll get to 1,000. So let's see. I think there's somewhere in the middle. I think there's good ones. I think there's bad ones. I think they purposely try to avoid us. I think they're a lot like mountain lions where they don't view us generally as a food source, but can at some points. And, hey, sorry, my cat's trying to eat something over there. Hey, stop. Damn cats. Yeah, so I think there's good and bad ones. I think you should be avoided the same way you would avoid a mountain lion or a bear. Or if you knew that they're kind of like the Sentinelese Island where that missionary got killed, you don't just walk out to unknown people and try to start preaching to them. And I think Bigfoots and Dogmen are a lot of the same way. Pretty sure I saw in there, oh man, this is getting really backed up. Steve Murillo, hey buddy, we got to go visit Claudia, man. Call her up, set up a weekend in January. Steve, come on, man, we got to go visit Claudia and do some. That's Claudia Ackley. I want to plan a trip to go see her up in Big Bear and go check out the sites of her encounter. Should be cool. Missouri Monster is Momo. Well, there you go. Our cheetahs can't walk on hind legs. Australia. Thumbs up, folks. Thanks, Wood Booger. No, give me a thumbs down. Boo, Matt Squatch. Do you believe trolls, ogres, and wildmen European mythologies facts of Bigfoot in Europe? I think that doesn't help those stereotypes. I think maybe the stories of mountain giants and giants that have been even seen to this day, I think that has a lot more to do with trolls and ogres and some of this other stuff you see. But definitely, if someone saw Bigfoot in one of these countries that has a long history of trolls and ogres, they would probably think it was one. Hi there from Georgia. Hello. Do you think a Type 1 sees a Type 2 is different? I think there are some areas they probably cross over. I think they kind of stay away. I think it's, once again, tribalism. I think how humans in an inner city, how you'll have, Chinatown or Little Saigon, and then you've got like a mostly black community and a mostly Hispanic community. It's in our nature to kind of segregate ourselves for better or for worse, and kind of keep it just kind of like how Indian tribes broke each other into tribes, and how black bears and brown bears stay away from each other. I think they would kind of break themselves up into different groups. Do they crossmate or interbreed? I suppose it could happen. I just really don't know enough about it, to be honest. Uh, Brian Colstead, Matt Squatch Presents. I always wondered if some soldiers went MIA might not been victims of opportunistic cryptids, especially when looking at Revolutionary and Civil Wars, lack of tech. Oh yeah, I think they probably sent a squad of scouts out in the woods or something to go track down the other guys, and Bigfoot or Dogman gets them. I'm sure it still happens to this day on training exercises. Is it just you government covers up, or the Canadian government cover it up too? Canada has a government. Uh, yeah, I believe they. You got to remember, Canada is population-wise such a smaller country, and they're really concentrated in very specific areas as far as people. And there's so much vast wilderness in Canada. But yeah, I do think they cover it up for a lot of the same reasons we do. Do you think any debunk? Do you watch any debunking channels, and what are your thoughts on them? I find them entertaining. Bigfoot Tony. Uh, Bigfoot Tony is always great. Thinker Thunker is always great. I don't always agree with either one of those guys on everything, but they do a pretty good job. I think it's entertaining. I think Thinker Thunker is best when he was doing a lot of his patty work and he was doing the scale and he was putting lines on and comparing people and how much bigger they'd have to make a person and how the joints and hips and muscles and stuff don't line up to show the size. Oh, do you think Lady in the Woods cheated on the backpack contest? She won the backpack? Well, yeah, of course she cheated. I don't know what she did, but she had to have. She had to have. I mean, without even a question. You don't see her on here right now, so I think she's sitting at home thinking, "Yes, I really scored." Do you think debunking? Yes. So I answer your question. I do like debunking channels. I do a little bit on this channel, but not much. It's not my forte. Hey Matt, you're on at the same time as Vic's show is on. Vic Cundiff. Yeah, I listen to him once in a while. I find his stuff. He's just so monotone and Dogman stuff. One, to be honest, there's so much good content between Sasquatch Chronicles and Duke from World Bigfoot Radio and Woodburger Farm and Thinker Thunker and Bigfoot Tony and Dixie Cryptids are good. There's so much good stuff out there. Not to mention, I do have interest beyond Bigfoot. I'm a car guy, I'm a gun guy, and everything else. I can't, I would have to literally be listening to podcasts and watching videos all day long to keep up and everything. So I do listen to him once in a while, not to mention Jimmy Church. And yeah, there's so much good stuff out there. It's like impossible to keep up everything. Matt Niven was rigged, Rick. Yeah, we know it, Matt. We know it. You think you ever do a video about the hellhounds? Oh, crap. I lost my spot. Sorry, I lost that spot. The things are coming at me too bad. Howdy, President Brown Dwarf. Hey, Brown Dwarf's on here? Oh, hey, Brown Dwarf. Greetings, you real Matt Squatch. Hey, Brown. Good to have you here. Yes, I know. I got to come visit you. Quit bothering me. Utah Sasquatch is weird how he just erased all his vids. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with him. Oh, God, what was it? Nathan Rio? Is that the guy's name? I watched a few of his stuff because my channel was kind of starting up right when he was still pretty big. I don't know what happened to him. I've heard some conflicting reports that he was just sick of Bigfoot and got out of it. Anyway, which Bigfoot type do you find the most fascinating? Oh, it'd probably have to be the Gugwees. They're all fascinating, but have to be the Gugwees and the Wendigo, the purely carnivorous type, because they're like the polar bears. You think it's possible to make friends with the Sasquatch or Dogman? Friends, I suppose so, like you could with any wild animal. Like you fed a bear every day. It's probably... I don't know if you're going to be friends with it. I think Sasquatch, you stand more of a chance than Dogman, but I wouldn't advise either one. Hi from New Jersey. Hello. We question, will you ever do a hellhound video? Okay, there it was. Do you think Bigfoots would fear hellhounds? Yeah, yeah, there's the whole black dog, hellhound, large wolf thing going on. Maybe an offshoot of Dogman. I'm not sure. Are Bigfoot and other cryptic creatures susceptible to electrical shock? I would imagine that they would be. Leighton Lawn Walker. Hey, hi, Matt. Sorry, I'm way behind in the comments. So it's taking me a while to catch up. Brown Dwarf. Hey, once again. Are there any stories in Vietnam about huge apes snatching soldiers on patrol? Yes, there are stories about the rock apes. My father-in-law was in Vietnam. He's kind of a no-nonsense guy. I'd like to talk to him about it sometime. So yeah, there's lots of stories of the rock apes. To be honest, Utah Sasquatch always stated he had evidence, but I doubted it. That very well could be. I never really followed his work, to be honest. I knew who he was. At the time, I had 100 subscribers, and he had like 17,000, and I was just like, oh, I want to be like this guy someday. And I think I watched a few of his videos. Um, but yeah, I really like the encounter shows better. I really like stuff Duke was doing, and Sasquatch Chronicles was doing more than what he was doing. Not that anything he was doing was wrong. Yes. Have you ever heard of Kat Hansen? If so, do you believe she was telling fighting hand to hand combats with Sasquatch and Dogman? Uh, I do believe Kat has a lot of stuff she should be telling. She does have some very convincing photos and some very good stories that could be corroborated. Um, and yeah, I do think she's telling the truth on a lot of stuff. But I think there's also is perception, and I think there is some metaphor there. Do I believe everything she says? Not necessarily, but I think she's very interesting to talk to, and she does make a lot of good points, and certainly has an interesting perspective on it. Like I said, no one should be ignored. Just what you believe is up to you. So, short answer, I think Kat Hansen's interesting, the stuff she talks about, and I think she's dead on with other things. And I also think from a Native America, because she's not a researcher, so the terms she uses and the Native American point of view and the things she's experienced maybe just don't translate as well as we think. I don't know. So yeah, Woodburger Farm, TT did and then a not so good vid today. TT did a not so good video today. Who's TT? Oh, Thinker Thunker. Oh, about Peter Kane. Yeah, I think he probably just took his stuff at face value and didn't really do a lot of research. And it happens. Every now and then somebody gets stung. There's things that I thought were real that turned out to be blatantly fake. So it happens to the best of us. I wouldn't, throw Thinker Thunker out the window. Like I said, his work that he's done on the Patterson Gimlin films and proportions and all this proportion stuff for the body and the face and all the stuff it's very cool. It's very cool. Um, Ryan Temple again, checking out some of Small Town Monsters documentary videos after this live stream. Thanks for referring me. They're great. Yeah, I've watched a lot of them. I got a few more to go through. I'll put reviews out on them. Uh, my wife doesn't really want to watch them, and my daughter goes to bed at 8 o'clock, and I'm old now, so I'm usually in bed not too long after that. So I very rarely when I do have time to myself, like tonight, I'm usually working on videos or something. So once every couple of weeks, I get to watch something like that. Um, we have Gimpy Ape Man. Apparently, we have a Gimpy Ape Man. Apparently, well, good. Oh my word! Oh, Lady of the Woods is here. Oh snap! Oh crap! Uh, Shame! I knew it. Shame, lady. Yeah. How dare you rig it? Yeah, Sasquatch Hanchin is legit. Have you ever seen her pictures? Best by far. She does have a lot of convincing pictures. I will give her that. And yeah, and she got away with it too. Uh, well, let me go back here. I kind of lost my spot. You need a Nitro Express to take down Bigfoot. I think 300 Win Mag with some all coppers, deep penetrating ammo. 458 lot, yeah. Live 30 minutes from Mammoth Cave in Kentucky. Oh, sorry, crap. I'm kind of. The whole feed just jumped on me and I lost my space. Okay, oh, here we are. Uh, so I know I'm like 5 or 10 minutes back on comments. It's just there's so much. There's 124 people here, so you got to give me time. Do you think? This is from Brian Colsty. Do you think the rise of cryptid sightings, fulfillment of biblical prophecies, Book of Enoch, Revelations, are there any return? Days of Noah, I'm sure he means by cameras, more chimeras. Um, it's a very sobering thing to think about, and I'm not going to throw it out and say no. I think yours have been here a long time before us and will be here a long time after us. However, our fate and end comes to about if it's in the next 5 years through a meteorite or big flood or some kind of biblical reckoning, or we go extinct in 10,000 years from now, or however it happens, it's going to happen eventually. And you think there's a rise? I think I think when it comes to interdimensionality and planets and shifts. Sorry if you see me rubbing my nose a lot. I'm getting over a cold. So if you see with interdimensionality and the planet rotating and hurtling through everything and portals and all the weird shit that goes on in this world. It's hard. It's hard to tell. It really is. It's hard to tell. I don't want to stand here and say yes, this is the end times, but it certainly makes you think. Rock apes in the Vietnam War, were they hushed? I think they had enough crap going on to where I think some people talked about it, but it was just a tongue-in-cheek thing. I don't know if they were actively hushed. This would be what, the 60s, 70s, so I don't think there was a big cover-up going on quite that early on, at least not in Vietnam. But I think the guys that came home from Vietnam didn't want to talk about what they did on a daily activity, much less about they were out there getting shot at, watching their buddies die, and then they saw some hairy ape in the woods walking on 2 feet. So I don't know. I'm really going to have to look into it. The 30 McMahon, Kentucky guy with tinted windows had the Sasquatch experience. The guy was worried to tell me a story. Strange thing, he says it cloaked invisible. You hear a lot of that. Some people say that might be something to do with them being interdimensional, all that other kind of stuff, or maybe supernatural. Who knows? I've done a few videos on it. Glock guy here. I'm a Glock guy too. It's one of those things where you're a 1911 guy, and then you get a Glock, and then you're a Glock guy, and then you're like me, where I own a couple Glocks and a couple 1911s and a couple revolvers, and I like them all. They all have their purpose, and it's like trying to pick your children. You got a safe full of guns, and you're like, I can't get rid of any of you. So yeah, 458 watt attention getter, yes, except they're really hard on you, and the ammunition's really expensive. That's why I like 338 Win Mag, 300 Win Mag. Even 30-06 with the right heavy, 180 grain bullets or something with partitions or Barnes Vortex bullets or the Hornet A GMX, and all copper, holds together, penetrates deep. Good rounds for, I think, would be a good anti-Sasquatch round because that's what they use against bears. Okay, all good in the woods. Hope you're all well. Rio was threatened by an insane fan. That's what I heard anyways. Okay. I get threats all the time in my comment sections. I just block them and move on. You need to get a Nitro Express to take down Bigfoot. I got the hold when I worked in a gun store. It's way off subject. Some guy came in with a fitted case. It was this walnut case looking thing, and it had all this plush velvet on the inside, and it was a side-by-side rifle, like a side-by-side shotgun, but it was a rifle, and it had matching ammo, and it had these initials on it, and it was pattern welded like those Damascus barrels, and it was like a 550 nitro or 500 nitro express, and it was a Holland, and it was a H&H or something. Like, I think it was an H&H. And the guy just slapped it together and handed it to me, and then I handed it to somebody else before we realized what we had, and it was like a $50,000 or $60,000 turn of the century safari rifle. So yes, a Nitro Express would be effective, but they're so expensive. They're like works of art collector pieces. I think you need to get like the Ruger guide gun series and 375 Ruger or 375 H&H, just a good working bolt gun, just a good working man rifle because you're going to beat it up. I would hate to take one of those expensive guns into the woods after Sasquatch. Pat Niven, I told you to quit doing that, Rick. Do you have Matt Squatch stickers? I'd like to put them on my vehicle. I was thinking about doing stickers and t-shirts. It's one of the things that's going to come up in this new year. Yeah, I'm definitely going to do some stickers, and I'll probably do a giveaway. I want to do a few meet and greets, and I want to hand out stickers. Maybe I'll do a nice round little sticker, and then maybe some bumper sticker size. If you want to get a sticker made from a sticker shop that says Masquatch Presents on your own, and go do it. I don't mind you sharing my name. Go for it. Recent video of a huge dog out there. You're drunk. I'm not even drunk. I've only had, that much wine? I'll pour a little more. No, I was. I don't get that drunk anymore because when you get over the age of 30, the hangovers are terrible. You ever seen the story of the Mount St. Helens rescue of Sasquatches? Yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about Mount St. Helens where they had to go in after the volcano and pull these crusted volcanic ash-covered bodies out, and where they came in there and tranquilized some and got live ones out, or they were running across the roads and running past people's houses. I've heard all sorts of crazy stories about Sasquatch and Mount St. Helens, and I believe a lot of them are probably true. Gots to beat the competition, Matt. Yeah. Colt, sorry. Yeah, I carry a 45 in the woods sometimes. They're usually really heavy. I just carry whatever gun I can and just put good penetrating ammo in it. Uh, do you? What is your take on Melvin Ketchum's work in the genome of Sasquatch? I think her work is very interesting, and I that's it. I'm leaving, Meanie. Oh, sorry, lady. Don't go. Um, Melba Ketchum's work. I covered it earlier in this. I think that there's a lot there. I think they kind of threw the baby out with the bathwater. I've heard a lot of stories that Melba's crazy and says a lot of stuff. But you throw her work out, I mean, there's probably a whole team of scientists working on it. And I think her work makes almost too much sense for it to not be right in some ways. I don't know. It's one of those things that there's just so much conjecture with her trying to get to the bottom of what's really going on. I'd love to get a copy of her actual report, sit down and read it, maybe with a science dictionary or something, and look up what all the terms are and actually get through it. Brown Dwarf, hey Matt Squatch, do you have any reports of cryptogamity from Trinity, California, from Trinity County? No, no one's contacted me, but I would guess they're up there. Um, and from what I've seen from this one guy's YouTube channel, they like to hang out on the beach and build a lot of stuff on the beach. Um, Matt, finally going to meet Claudia. You're finally going to meet Claudia for dinner. Yeah, Steve Murillo, the president of UPARS, and I, we've been kind of getting together lately. He's turned out to be a good friend, and he knows Claudia really well. We're going to come up there and spend a day sometime in the near future, see her area, talk about her encounter, do some filming, and yeah, hang out and see what's going on up there. I like getting away anyway. Big Bear's right in my backyard in Southern California, so I like getting up there. Like dogs, you think Bigfoot could kill cats? What do you think? You think Bigfoot could take you out? Yeah, I'm sure they could. Um, do you think Sasquatch are just Wookiees stranded on Earth? Well, that's the best theory I've heard yet. Bigfoot and Nephilim are 1,000% supernatural creature. Well, yep. Yowies are safe in Australia. Many people walk around with a gun. Yeah, I don't know. I they got really strict gun laws in Australia. Of course, I live in California, so I feel their pain. Um, let's see here. Dick, do you have resources proving it's a Nephilim? I think they're scared creature. I think they're sacred creatures of the woods. Well, respect everybody's opinions here. You have to have a license in Australia and in any land to thank God. I understand Australian have lever guns for boar hunting. Yeah, I think a lot of those countries you can have bolt action rifles and lever action rifles, but nothing semi-automatic, which that's 99.9% of your hunting and dangerous game work and everything else is bolt action rifles anyway. Steve Real, Claudia is in Crestline. Yeah, I know. It's kind of in the same general mountainy area. Um, yeah, Crestline, then Big Bear, and then over the freeway. Yeah, you're right, Steve. I keep saying Big Bear, but it really is Crestline. It's still a nice area. It's still my backyard here in Southern California. Remember going to Big Bear as a kid and always thought there's strange vibes up there. Yeah, I've been to Big Bear, and there is kind of some parts of those woods seem kind of spooky up there. But Big Bear is cool. So is Crestline. So is Idlewild, where my dad is. All the local Southern California mountains are kind of neat to go check out. Okay. Yeah, Claudia isn't. I got to do more because I know where Crestline is, but I'm trying to picture it exactly in my brain because there's these mountain ranges here in Southern California. Yeah. Okay. I think I got it. I'll have to research it a little bit better. Do you think a tiger could hunt and kill a Bigfoot? What's the one species of tiger, the Siberians, that get like 14 feet long and 800 pounds? Is huge. Yeah, I think that would probably take down a Bigfoot. You ever thought of coming up to Ontario, Canada, or have any legitimate sightings show up here? Yeah, Ontario's got plenty of sightings of Bigfoots. Um, Lots of stories coming from there. Even when you get up into Canada, there's stories of mountain giants, so be careful. Uh, I haven't been to Canada. Oh, excuse me. I haven't been to Canada since I was a little kid, but I'd love to go. Um, I'd absolutely love to go. Love to see you follow up on your father's cabin experience. That was quite a story. Yeah, I get up there and visit him every so often, and always have a time to go looking around and do some filming. Um, yeah, I mean it's been kind of quiet. Every now and then he hears a strange sound or a howl up there. He lives up there by himself mean, he's got neighbors and stuff, but every now and then he hears a strange howl or something in the woods, um, or something, trots by his porch or jumps off the roof onto the deck that's pretty big. He had something. He thought that was probably more of a bobcat though. But every now and then he hears strange sounds that he's never heard before, and the Bigfoot are up there, probably passing by. Um, Matt, I did a video with Claudia and her spot at night only a few weeks ago. Mason Productions, California Exploring. And hey, I'm going to check it out, buddy. She's a friend of a friend, so I want to go up and talk to her in person. But that's awesome. I'll have to check out your video. Um, hey, Pam. Nice to see you here. Hey, Lady in the Woods. David Hodges. Well, it looks like I am fairly caught up. Okay, here's a question. Matt's question. So back to MIB. Thank you for keeping me on track. Thank you, Brian. You know what, Brian? I am going to make you. Oh, crap. Comments are running away here. No, it's not letting me do it. You are now a moderator. Not that we're having a lot of problems, but it's always good to have a few moderators to look out there. So back to the MIB, the larger faction of the government, or are they more of small clandestine organization? Are they themselves possibly other than human? I've heard stories. Well, I've heard with the UFO world that the men in black appear to be almost like some kind of an alien species or like robots or something because they're very odd manners and they're not just normal people who got recruited into it. As far as the Bigfoot MIB, they seem to be just kind of regular people that they recruited into this or were brought into it, or probably former military, just like most spies or, some kind of special forces that did special force work for the CIA and then get brought in. Yeah, I don't get a lot of people telling me that they're otherworldly or something odd. I think they're a much smaller organization. I think that for all the people that are trying to suppress the UFO world and all the things going on there, there's probably quite a bit smaller community or quite a bit smaller organization. They're supposed to be part of the Department of Interior. I think local Bigfoot stuff and local problems, like say in a local national forest here, if there's one that's going through campsites and raiding campsites and causing problems and people have had a few sightings and it's seen in broad daylight, I think they'll just close down the campground. I think the local government will probably report it higher ups, and I think they'll just close the campground. Or if they're on a hiking trail, they'll close the hiking trail or close the whole section. We get that all the time here in Southern California. There's a hiking trail closed for, and we're talking barbed wire fence closed, and there's this big sign, do not enter habitat remediation, where they let the habitat heal for a year without human contact, whatever that means. So yeah, you hear all the time. I've seen all the time trails closed for bear activity and mountain lion activity. So I think they just would close it. Or bear and mountain lion activity could be a good reason. So I think when they can, they take care of it at a local level. But when it comes to actual witnesses and evidence, I think the big guns, the feds, come in too. Okay. Need to run. Be safe. Take it easy, Mike. Okay. Okay. You think Bigfoot ever got high on mushrooms? Oh, yeah. I'm sure they've eaten stuff that's made them really trip out there. I don't doubt it. I don't think they liked the experience either. It was probably very confusing for them. Smash the like button, folks. Thanks, Brown. Hello, Gordon. Sorry to keep repeating, but you were skipping. What do you think Colorado Bigfoot's work and his structures? What are they for? Are you talking about Colorado Bigfoot's channel? Hold on, lady. You now have a wrench. Hope that made your night, lady. Colorado Bigfoot's work. I think there's Colorado Sasquatch. Is that the same channel? I've watched a few of his stuff. He had some interesting stick structures, to be honest. I like hearing encounters more because there's a lot more action and fascinating. It's like, oh, here's some stick structures in the woods. I kind of, I've watched a few things and kind of just moved on. I think he's got real Bigfoots there he's filming. I know they're all over Colorado, but I really don't know enough about the guy. Grants Pass, Oregon here. Now they're up there too. I see shows with supposed big budgets and crappy equipment. Yeah, it's because it's probably all. It's probably because it's all going towards salaries. Coonbo Baker said it was the Navy that was actually the MIB, and we had met them in the L, and we had met them at the LBL. Yeah, I know the Air Force does all the UFO stuff. So I mean, Navy, just because I think the Navy's. Yeah, I have no idea. Like I said, I think there's many levels. I think if um, local national forests and national parks, I think they take care of the small stuff themselves, and I think the feds come in. Maybe there's guys that work for the Department of Interior that handle civilian issues, and then the Department of the Navy guys handle all the sightings that happen around military bases. That's just a guess, but it sounds like it would probably make. Uh, Give me a wrench, destroy all your enemies, Mattykins. I never think I've ever been called Mattykins before. I've been called Mr. Matthew quite a few times. Uh, Mason's California Exploring, my Bigfoot video. I don't know which one it is. I'll have to go back and look at it. Last time I saw uh, Mason's Productions California Exploring. Oh, you're a different guy than I'm thinking of. I got to go back and check it out. I honestly don't remember. I see so many videos every day. It's kind of hard to keep them straight. I need to come up with a better system because I'm just like, I get so many pictures and emails and just like, some guy sends me a picture of the woods with a circle drawn in it, and he's like, "What type of Bigfoot is it?" And I'm like, "There's a Bigfoot in the picture." So trying to keep everybody straight here. I need to do a much better job. So sorry. Uh, Question: do you think game and fish and game are all aware, and then the ones that just come, or just the ones that come across Bigfoot? I think probably. I think it's one of those. It's a need to know. If you're in an area that has low Bigfoot sightings, they probably don't tell you anything about it. But if you're in a high Bigfoot activity, they probably tell the supervisors, and they probably don't tell their low level guys until they've seen one. It's kind of one of those things where we're not talking about it until we've seen one. And once you've seen one, we're going to tell you you didn't see anything. Um, any serious attempts to use multiple high dollar cameras, IR, thermal, night vision combo? Uh, Not that I'm aware of. I know there's a few Hollywood shows and a few things like that, but they go out one night with a crew of 30 people and they spend 4 hours filming and wonder why they don't find Bigfoot. It's like the whole finding Bigfoot, not finding Bigfoot thing. I think you'd have to get some highly trained soldiers and some technicians who are good in fieldcraft and bushcraft to go out there and spend a good month in an area. Maybe go to an area once a month for a couple of years to establish when they're in an area, when they're not, and then come back, um, see if they can capture them, use all this equipment, do the cover scent and all that kind of stuff. I think, yeah, but you'd have to do like what that Robert Bigelow guy did with Skinwalker Ranch. You'd have to get some really well-funded dudes out there and, get some people who have military training or get trained up, and probably a lot of trial and error as well. Or they could just go out the first night and get lucky. Who knows? I really didn't expect the Navy's. I always thought it'd be Delta Force. Well, I think the Delta Force probably handles the elimination of them, but just the general like, hey man, about your encounter last week, you saw a bear. That probably would be more just some guy in the Navy. I don't know. Any Sasquatch in Gainesville, Georgia? I'm sure there are. What do you think about? Crap! It just jumped again. All right, let me go back here. I see a wrench working. Uh, Mason Scratchwatch. Mason Productions, California Exploring. I'm a girl. Girl, 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 girl. Sorry, 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 sorry. You have a tiny little thumbnail that's just tiny and I can't check it out. Sorry, sorry. My wife says I'm not supposed to talk to other girls anyway. Um, Sorry, I didn't mean to offend anybody. Mason, are you a girl? Haha, apparently. Anyway, sorry about all that. I didn't mean any offense by it. That and 98% of people who are into Bigfoot are men. So, anyway, I see the wrench is working. Now YouTube says you're talking too much. Must be a girl. Ha 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 ha. Giants are the prodigies of earthly. Prodigies, I think they mean progenies, women and fallen angels from fallen angel fathers. Bigfoot is a Nephilim and is a combo of the original two primates. Okay. That could certainly be. Um, Pam Purple Rose. Several people missing here. Several people missing here again in the mountains. Yeah, we get them every now and then here in Southern California too, and going through all the Sierras. Kind of gets swept under the rug, and you hear. I mean, what was it this year in Yosemite National Park? They had 6 people missing, and those are the ones they didn't find bodies of. Just they've had like it was 6 people that they have no trace of where they went. They just gone, vanished. Wow. You think I think skunk apes are their own types. I think they're different than the type twos. Although I think Florida has type twos and what people call the skunk ape. I think they got a couple things going on there. I think the skunk apes are more closely related to like orangutans. The FBI has arrived. Oh shit! End your live stream now. Do you like black people? Yes, I do like black people. I have friends from every walk of life. Uh, I've met good people from every race and bad people from every race. I have nothing against any race in particular. Yeah, of course I like black people. Finding Bigfoot is a joke. Yes, it is. We have 411 in Australia too. I'm sure you do. It seems to be everywhere. You can't make me wait. Guess you can. Yeah, Rick, there's a reason why I didn't give you a wrench. Do you think MIB only makes appearances when people talk too much, or do you believe the MRE knows when they've interacted with the cryptids? I think they know when you've interacted with the cryptids or something comes across 911 or police scanners of a monster or hairy creature, and I think they listen and monitor that stuff. I think you can talk about Bigfoot and theorize about it and go out in the woods and bang on trees and hoot and holler, but I think if you have really good evidence, um, if you've been wounded or a group of people, a whole bunch of people have seen the same creature, hard nosed evidence, then I think that's when they show up. That's when they show up. Spoke to a ranger in Humboldt. He told me they would love to see one and they hadn't had any recent reports at that park. He might be lying, but he might be telling the truth. I don't know. You know, there's reports about the deep woods. You have anything about the. Oh, crap. Thing jumped again. Let me see if I go back here. I'll go back. Okay, sorry. Going back here. Okay. Those reports in the deep woods. If you stare, you've heard anything about stairs leading up to dimensional portals and what? Yeah, I've heard a lot of stuff about portals and things in the woods and strange things coming out of them. The stream is being rated by the MIB. Wouldn't surprise me. God is real. I believe he is too. Ironic. Yes, I can't eat one of my own. Shut off the stream. I'm not going to shut off the stream. Fish in the mangroves in the Biscayne Bay around in the Everglades. We all see them. Nobody talks about it because of tourism. I have video. It's complicated. Okay, well, email me at mattsquatchpresents@gmail.com, James Bama. I would love to see some video. Even if you do not want to share it with anybody else, I would like to see it or stills from it. Very interested. But get a hold of me. That sounds interesting. Bigfoot and all cryptids are results of angelic sexual corruption and gene manipulation. Well, that's the rumor. Uh, this is some guy in the Navy. Ironic, man. Well, there's a lot of people in the Navy. My dad was in the Navy. So, um, are you a rear admiral? Hello, Matt and everyone. Hi, Sissy. I think there's stairs in the woods. I think there's stairs in the woods as a joke. Hey, Matt Squatch, if you want to read some good reading, check out Dark Woods by Jane Kumar. I think he emailed me a while back, but yeah, I'm going to check him out. I think he spoke to me or emailed me or something like that. I don't know. The FBI has arrived. Shut down your stream immediately. Very funny. Well, they're not at my house. Well, I'm going to laugh really hard if the door gets kicked in or something. Must be nice to see D has a wrench again. Lady in the woods. Where's my wrench, Matty Quins? When you grow up. That's where Dick Richards. Is the dog trainer just a guy shading the Bigfoot community? That's exactly what he is. He did a pretty good job on the production value, I will say. Reddit made up a scary story. Dang autocorrect. I hate autocorrect half the time. But don't turn it off. You're going to look even worse. Trust me, I tried it for a while. Thoughts on the timber giant Bigfoot vids and excited what are you going back to doing? And when are you going back out or doing speeches? I got invited to do one was in Alabama, some cryptid con thing coming up in January, and it was like she sent two words, "Want to go?" and there was a link, and I was like, "Who is this?" And she's like, "Doctor So and So." I'm like, "You're gonna have to tell me a little more information. Am I a speaker? Do you just want me to attend? Do I get a booth?" And she wasn't really clear on what's going. I'm like, "That's okay. That's a long way to go for me to drop probably a couple grand on hotels and flights out there to give a 1 day talk at some conference I'd never heard of." And I told her maybe next year if she gave me a little more information or wanted to talk about it a little more. And then some guy wanted me at some art to give a in LA, or it was actually in Long Beach, wanted me to give a half-hour talk, some art gallery thing he was doing. It was a half-hour talk, but he had this whole long list of stuff he wanted covered. It was like an 8-hour talk wouldn't talk about the stuff he wanted me to talk about in a half hour. And I have a family holiday thing going on anyway next Saturday, so I just said, I'm going to pass up. But I'd love to do more speaking engagements. They just got to be right. I'm down for it. They just got to give me notice and clear information about what they want, and I'll give a talk anywhere, whatever they want to talk about. I do have quite a few podcast appearances coming up here, so I'll let you guys know about that. Those are always fun. Okay. Um, Talked to folks who said some swamp buggers have a greenish tiny to their tiny. I think I mean tinge to their skin. Uh, well, it might just be mold or moss growing on them, but who knows? Hello, guys. Hello, Matt. I've followed Matt's channel for a long time, and first I've seen him live. Uh, Bamboo Soldier. Well, welcome. Um, Woodburger Farm. Sissy is a girl. Yes, I know Sissy is a girl. Thank you, Woodburger Farm. Sorry, there's a little tiny, what you call it, thumbnail, and I couldn't tell. It just looked like little dark dots on here. And I got 13,000, almost 14,000 subscribers. I can't remember the gender of each person. Sorry. Try not to make that mistake again. Um, Without a beard, thank you. I think Dogman and MIB seems to show up and give you too much attention. Show up if you give them too much attention. There you go. Uh, I think Bigfoot are from another universe. Well, that certainly is a popular theory. Matt, what about the Squatch Master? What about the Squatch Master video today? It was an amazing portrait of Daddy Squatch. Wow. Uh, Squatch Master video today. I don't think I saw that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. Uh, Matthew Turner, message retracted. Ooh, what did he say? What's the next video you're working on? Oh, I got three. I've always got 3 or 4 videos I'm perpetually working on. As I get ideas, I add them to my list. Um, I've got one that's kind of a surprise. Um, I got one when an area looks squatchy, the things I look for in Bigfoot habitat. One that's viewer questions answered, compiled a lot of emails. I'm going to go over that because there's some really good questions, and more than this live stream format where I'm getting kind of basically shot at with questions. Um, and another one I like to call Sasquatch Lies in Videotape. I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. One of those will be out next week, and you'll get all the rest of them eventually too. Um, Brown dwarf, those orbs around you are incredible. Yeah, I've seen the orbs once, and they are freaky. Matt, I really like your YouTube channel. Very informative. Thanks, Derek Rummerfield. Thanks, Derek. Canada is full of missing people who have never been reported. Yeah, I know. And there's a whole Trail of Tear Highways things. All those native ladies went missing. It's really sad. There's a lot of stuff going on in Canada. Uh, what's terrible wrenches you have, Matt? Shame, lazy mechanics. Well, you're still on here, Rick, so I would keep the sassiness down. Uh, Booger, you're crazy. Yes, Rick is crazy. What do you think a Dogman comes up in the fossil record? I think if they do, they probably hide it. Naomi Spirit Walker, good evening. Good evening to you. Pam Trippy Stuff. Okay, let's see here. Hold on, I'm going back here. My screen jumped back quite a far. And I realize I'm quite a far back. Okay, let me go back here. Sorry, I hate to do dead air, but hope you know about Sasquatch Chronicles, Dogman Encounters of Vixen, Bigfoot Outlaw Radio, World Bigfoot Radio. Those are all guys I listen to. Um, okay, well I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna jump past a bunch of stuff just because I kind of lost my place. But we'll go to Brian Colsey. Is your opinion that Bigfoot silenced witnesses? I believe the possibility that someone persisted in revealing too much. Lots of woods out there to get lost in. I think if it came down to where the harassments weren't working, or you had a single guy who didn't have a family to threaten and was really going to possess, I think that would be um, yes. I think that they would. I think they could disappear somebody. I think that's the very extreme. I think that's a very last resort. But if someone's about to blow this whole thing wide open, I wouldn't put it past them. Just like the CIA and a lot of other organizations are known to do. What do you think is going on with the Sasquatch and Dogman not trespassing or breaking into houses that are often when it's obvious they can keep them out? I don't know. I think it's more of a fear intimidation thing. I think maybe Bigfoot Dogman knows that you cross a line when you go into a house and guns start firing, and I think maybe that might be their fear. Maybe there's a supernatural portion of it, like a vampire. You got to invite him into your house or something. I think they're just like screwing with us. And I think inside a house with the lights on and TVs going and appliances and fire and I think there's a lot of stuff that they don't know what's going on. So I think for them going into somebody's house, not that they won't, not that they haven't, I think that's much too big a risk for them when they can just peek through windows and taps on houses and stuff. Uh, it is not a cryptid. I once saw Black Panther on my grandparents' farm in northern Iowa wandering around. I called DNR and they called us crazy. Yep, that's very common. People see them all over the place. They see mountain lions in places that aren't supposed to be there, and I believe you. I listened to Vic Tunda for years, and there had been some kind of dogman out there. I've heard too many compelling stories. Yeah, him. The same thing with Sasquatch Chronicles and everything else. Um, you can't ignore it. There's just too many people are seeing something. There's too many people with tears in their eyes telling these stories for them to all be lying. I heard Dogman's possible ancestor of Hyanodon. I've Hyanodon, Hyanodon. Possible. But then there seems to be a real mix of what people see with Dogman. There's some that look like a hyena, and there's someone that look like Anubis. There's some that look like, you know, uh, quite a bit different from each other. Some look more like a wolf. Some more look like oh crap, what do you call them? Like a Doberman Pinscher more type. So yeah, who knows? It could be a certain variety. Might be. Uh, I don't want to go up either. Alabama, I'm live here. Hey, Alabama. Even though I'm a most mature person on my farm, sure you are. You're probably the only person on your farm. The would you love to, would love you to come out to Michigan. I would love to come out to Michigan, not in the wintertime. Thank you for all your work. Lots of info. You're welcome. Wouldn't expect you've seen the Scottish movie Dog Soldiers. If not, check it out. Funny and frightening. I've heard of the movie, but I don't think I've ever watched it. I'll have to check it out though. Uh, Look at some maps of North America for hundreds of years. Western Canada called the land of red-haired giants. Well, they're still here way back in there. Hey, Matt Squatch, uh, I want to put a conference together one day. Would love to have you. I would love to go. You just let me know a ways in advance, a month or two in advance. Let me know of a place to stay, and I'll come do whatever you want. Give a couple talks, different Q&A sessions, help you set up tables, whatever you want, Brown. I'm I'm there to support you, brother. Uh, 46 going on 30. OG, prehistoric Matt. Is that like me prehistorically? OG, thanks for waiting till I have to go to bed for work. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I tried to do it at 6 because 9 o'clock East Coast time, it just seemed like the best median time to do it. Would you ever, would you ever lead an expedition of serious Bigfooters who paid their own way and brought their own gear with an approved list of? Yes, but I'd probably make you sign some serious waivers. Um, I'm not that serious of a Bigfooter when I'm out in the woods. I've got some physical issues. I got some nerve damage to my left leg that happened in the last couple of years, so I can't hike and get out there as much as I want. So I kind of more walk slowly and camp and kind of get a spot and wander around and kind of limp my way through the woods. So I would hate to slow down a serious team. But I don't know, call it a team. I'd probably take 3 other people at the most, split up in teams of 2 or something, and go that direction. I'd love to get a long dirt road and have people start at either end of it and meet in the middle or something like that and see if they can flush stuff towards each other, something to that effect. But yeah, they'd have to be serious motivated individuals. You ever lead an expedition? Look up what President Lincoln wrote about him. What do you think of Alaskan Bigfoot? I've heard stories, probably fan fiction a while back. When I went to Alaska, we spent a lot of time around. I didn't see any sign of Bigfoot, although it was so lush and so green and so much wildlife up there. I think they make a good living. It's just so cold. Even the lower parts of Alaska are just so cold all the time. I think they have a hard time. So I think they would really have to move around, and I definitely think they're in Alaska, and I think like everything in Alaska, it's bigger and scarier and tougher. But yeah, it's so big too. Alaska's so huge, so hard to find them, like a needle in a hay field, not even a haystack. Are there many reports of Bigfoot in southern Ontario, Canada? Yeah, there are. Mostly type 1s up there, probably some Wendigos. Look out for mountain giants. Happy holidays to you and your New Year's as well. Well, thank you. Happy holidays and Merry Christmas. I still say Merry Christmas. Even people that don't celebrate Christmas usually aren't offended if you say Merry Christmas. So I say Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays too. I'd love to see you on Sasquatch Chronicles. I was about a year and a half ago, 383, episode 383, 283 or 383. I was on there, and that's kind of how I got my start. I'd love to be back on Sasquatch Chronicles. If anybody knows, I guess I could just talk to him. I've talked to him in the past, Wes. Yeah, I'd love to be back on as a guest now. But yeah, Sasquatch Chronicles is awesome. One of my favorite shows. Tips about encountering Bigfoot, and there's some manuals from the 70s. Matt, if you tried to get tired of California gun control, you're welcome in Indiana. If Indiana is anything like what I saw in the show Parks and Rec, then yes, I am so down to moving to Indiana. We actually do want to move out of state, but my wife has such a good job that we feel a little anchored here. So, yeah. I'm about 3,000 subs, but most of them are dead. Hey, I sub Brown Dwarf. I'm not one of the dead ones. Dark Waters has some crazy stories. I do like Dark Water stories. I think on a personal level, I don't like Dark Water's bravado, but I think he's a great storyteller, and I think he has some amazing stories, and I do believe a lot of them. Some of them I think are kind of fictioned up, but I do like Dark Water's work. I don't like that he's all about the money, and you have what's it called? The pay service. The pay service where you got to pay for more content. But yeah, I like some of Darkwater, especially his early work when he did a lot of the Siege of Lockett Ranch and some of the Dogman stuff. Darkwater's some of his early stuff is really good. I'm the best mechanic on my farm, though. You're the only mechanic on your farm, aren't you, Rick? Are you going? When are you going to Lady in the Woods? Are you going to do some follow-ups? I just subbed. Go check out her channel. Sasquatch love the Grateful Dead. They're down to Garcia's guitar. Well, isn't everybody, especially on like a quiet afternoon with some wine or something? Doesn't everybody love a little Casey Jones or Truckin' or something like that? Well, I don't think there are a whole lot of Bigfoot sightings in Ontario. Dogmen, yes. Skinwalkers, yes. Bigfoot, never heard of them. People seeing anyway. I'm sure there are Bigfoots in Ontario, but they do have Dogman reports. Skinwalkers, yes. I think they probably got about everything up there. You just got to remember, there's just not that many people in Canada. So you could have an area loaded with Bigfoots, but there's no people around or that many people going into woods. And a lot of Canadian people tend to be kind of quiet, reserved people. So maybe if they saw something, they wouldn't report it anyway. Know of any good squatching areas in Arizona? Yeah, the Mogollon Rim. I don't know any specific areas, but I do know northern Arizona is loaded with them with the Mogollon monster. When I went to Grand Canyon a few years back, there was some interesting sign there. It's interesting because you have pine trees and red rock, and it's like pine tree desert. It's really, or one part of a highway, like one side of the road will be all kind of desert sagebrush, and the other side is all like pine trees and woods, and it's a very weird mix up there. So I think they probably move around quite a lot. I would just go on the BFRO website. There's a couple of good YouTube channels that do Arizona Sasquatch. I think one of them, and yeah, check it out. I know there's a lot of activity there. Um, okay. Any devil monkeys in Alabama? All right, I'm going to jump ahead here. Any devil monkeys in Alabama? Wouldn't surprise me. Um, let's see here. ID. Okay. Uh, Ryan Colsey. I live in Vancouver, Washington. Oh, that's right where Wes lives, in Vancouver, Washington. I'd love to get out there and do some squatching, but I'm not going alone. Would be foolish. Do you have some tips to look for in a partner? Somebody with an open mind, somebody who's quiet footed, somebody who's not super talkative, somebody that knows to keep quiet in the woods, and preferably somebody with firearms training with a level head that, like, just for if you broke your leg out in the woods, wouldn't panic, would help haul you out and go get the authorities. Just somebody you could really trust who's good under stress. Um, what are your thoughts on Todd Stanning's docs and picks? I went over that a lot last time. I think Todd Stanning has some good evidence as far as his main photo evidence, the ones he sticks in everybody's face all the time. I am not convinced that those are real Bigfoots, and I'll leave it at that. I hear Georgia and Washington State have a lot of sightings, and I hear they're good places to live. Yes, I actually have a buddy that lives in Washington State, although they're starting to turn a lot of California. They're starting to vote in a lot of gun laws. A lot of Californians relocated up there and brought their politics with them, so they're kind of slowly, slowly ruining Washington State too. You gotta love us Californians. Catalina, I swear, is scary. I've been to Catalina Island, not recently. I'd love to go back. There's all these. Remember, I had a book a while back called Haunted Catalina, and the Native Americans had all these stories about Haunted Catalina Island and all this weird stuff that goes on out there. So, yeah, I actually got banned from a James the Squirrel. I actually got banned from a Dark Waters live stream for being sassy. Typical, huh? Yeah, I don't have any personal interactions with the guy. Like I said, some of his older stories from 2 or 3, 4 years ago, the stuff when he first started out, I thought was great. As soon as he started getting all about Patreon, that's what it was. I kind of fell off. Like I said, there's so much stuff out there that I haven't really kept up with him, but I like Dark Water's early stuff. Okay, let's go all the way to the bottom and go back a little bit. We're going to wrap this up here in 10 or 15 minutes. It's already been an hour and a half. Okay. Yes, I don't go without a firearm. Is that what I don't go out there without a firearm? Yeah, or bear spray, have a phone, have your basic supplies. Just mindset is all about everything. Uh, hey, the nerve thing you talked about in your leg is a hip and it's out. Go see a good chiropractor. Get your hip in line. No, I actually had MRIs done and it's quite a bit. I got a couple collapsed discs and pinched nerves, and they're seriously considering surgery because I have a lot of feeling problem stuff going on in my left leg, and they're going to do nerve damage. And I've seen 2 or 3 different chiropractors, and none of them have been able to help. It's more than just an adjustment. I also have some scoliosis that was in there since birth. There's just a lot of complicated stuff. That and being a laborer, hard labor type work I've done for years and years and years, it finally caught up with me. But I appreciate the tip, though. But yeah, I believe in Bigfoot more than I believe in chiropractors, to be honest. Why do you think Sasquatch like military bases so much? I don't know. Maybe they are spies for aliens. I don't know why they like military bases so much. I think because they're kind of in the middle of nowhere, and there's lights and people going in and out, and they're just curious the same way they look inside houses. Threw mine out during a seizure, and the Cairo snapped it back like a gunshot. Oh, that's cool. Hey, Matt, Todd Standing is looking for people to work with the new research center. I think you would be a good person for the job. Yeah, as long as he hasn't watched any of my old videos where I said I don't like his work. But if he came to me and wanted to sit down and have coffee and had a genuine discussion, my ego and his ego aside, and really have an honest talk about Sasquatch, I wouldn't mind Todd Standing to talk to him about it. I don't throw anybody out, but he would have some big hurdles to jump with me. I'll just leave it at that. Hey, contact me. I'd be able to help. Okay. I'll let you know, lady. Brown Dwarf Rick, I wasn't drunk. Steve Murillo, bad news. Are you referring to me or referring to something else, Steve? Cheers, Matt. Cheers, you guys. Thanks. Uh, you're always so nice. It's odd that you got banned. Yeah, I don't know. Dark Waters. Some of those guys with the big egos. I think you say something that might be funny and they take it the wrong way, and they just start banning people. Um, who knows? Hey, Woodbugger. I'm in Central Kentucky and always went to the hills when I was a kid. American chestnuts. They were the reds were to the east, but now the blight took them out. And you said you lost your drone in a tree. Okay. Um, okay. Does anything make sense? So being banned from dark water shouldn't be a surprise. Yeah, I guess that's true. Um, is it mandatory that you have to be drunk to watch Brown Dwarf vids? I think if you're watching Brown Dwarf vids, he does something else that's not necessarily drinking. But that's just my guess. But I might be judging him because of his hair. Um, Brown Dwarf says, Rick, yes. Steve Rillo, I like Standings Muppets. Yeah, my daughter likes Sesame Street too. So, yeah, maybe they can do a guest appearance. Um, CBD oil, Matt, take 3 months along with your other maintenance. Yeah, to be honest, I've actually been going to the gym quite a bit. I know it doesn't look like it, but just doing cardio, getting my leg strength back, doing ab work, bench press, doing all sorts of stuff. Just been hitting the gym hard in the last couple months, and I felt better than I have in a long time. So I got an appointment with the surgeon. Well, he see what he says. I really don't want to go through surgery, and they want me to go to physical therapy, and I've been before, and it's usually just a giant waste of time. And then they want to do a nerve study, and I'm just about to like, screw it. I mean, how much longer do I have to live? I think I'll just deal with it. So Scott and Lit, yeah, I'm sure, Brown. Hey, it's legal. Hey, no judgment here. No judgment here, buddy. Be safe. Just had back surgery, 6 inch or so. Good luck. Takes a while to recover. I know. That's why I don't want to do it. Woodpecker Farm. That's not what I said, Matt. You're talking about California glaucoma medicine? Yes, it's legal here. Still not federally, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I'll leave that stuff to Brown. I'm sure he rolls a good one. So Brown, I need to hit the gym. You're probably still in better shape than me. I probably go to the gym. I go to the gym like 3 or 4 days a week. Do the elliptical and a treadmill for a half hour, 45 minutes. Lift weights. Eat like no carbs, and I'm still fat. Brown dwarf probably not working out's in better shape than me. So gotta go, Matt. Best. Bye, Steve. Talk to you later, man. We gotta go see Claudia. Maybe we'll do a live stream from up there. Cigarillo, bye, lady. Okay. I brought East Wing Rock pick today, identical to medieval anti-plate armor pick. Bring it on, knights. Okay. You're not that old. I know. Let's just say I'm a 35-year-old in like a 55-year-old body. Uh, have you talked to Matt Peterson about Nepotia? No, I haven't. I don't know what that is, but he's willing to talk to anybody. No, it's not. Woodburger Farm. It's mandatory that you be drunk to watch his vids. To watch his vids, Brown Dwarf. Ah. Matt Squatch presents. Do you plan on doing Duke's annual camp out in Montana? I'm saving up for myself. I have family in Montana, and I would love to do it. And Duke is one of my heroes. Probably not this year. We're on such a tight budget, trying to get things taken care of financially around here. I mean, we literally count every dollar. That's why I'm drinking $2 wine. Um, that it's just as the channel gets more money and as we get some things paid off, and probably next year. I don't know. It's still a long way away from summertime, though. Maybe I might be a last minute addition. I'd really love to do it. Um, Woodburger Farm. I've seen some of your videos. Well, weed level 1 and coke's level 2, heroin 2. Whoa, okay. Marijuana is legal there. Woodburger Farm. Man, if you're the Alabama white things, the regional white things, the regional cryptid. I heard of it. Something about the white fangs in Alabama, but I don't know anything about it. I'll have to research it and do a video. Matt's question: when Matt complains about his age, are you an older than he is? Oomph. Sorry. Woodburger Farm, Duke. Oh, hey Brian. We were speak of the devil. We were just talking about you. Good to see you on Duke. I just got done saying you're one of my paranormal heroes. Um, let's see here. Okay, let's scroll through. I brought a treadmill from the thrift store and put it in front of the TV. I would probably put it in front of the refrigerator and just be really screwed. Matt Squatch, 9,000 milligrams of vitamin C daily will build the cartilage in your hip and other places. Okay, good to hear. Good tip. Oh, wow, Brian, listen to your a lot of work. Brian Sullivan, enjoy your work. Yeah, Duke's awesome. Uh, if you do all that and you still got weight gain, it's probably a blockage in your kidneys. I'm not gaining weight, I'm losing weight. It's just very slowly. But I've always been a big guy. Even when I rode a bike for work, I did security patrol on a bike in my early 20s. I spent 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day riding up and down parking structures. Went to the gym 4 or 5 days a week after work. Spent 2 hours at the gym. I was still like 195 pounds. I mean, I was like jacked, but I'm only like five. I was still like a bulky guy. Even so, I'm just one of those like build types. It's hard to lose weight. Uh, Matt Squatch presents. Do you think Bigfoot and Dogman dimensional are alike? I think there's some possibility of that. Check out Sheep Squatch and Ozark Howler. Look up White Things. I think they are connected. I'll have to check that out. Uh, Random, but your thoughts on Dogman being double jointed? I've heard encounters where people hear popping before they stand up. I think, like anything, if you move around on all fours or when you get up in the morning, you pop and creak. I know I do. Yeah, I think if they've been running on all four for a long time, they stand upright. I think you're going to hear all sorts of popping and cracking. Double jointed, I don't know. I just think it's just from running and moving in one form of locomotion and going to another. Uh, okay, Duke, you did a good job repairing that sound on a video. Oh, it's Pam and Duke. I just forgot. I was just watching that video today at the gym um, when I was on the treadmill. Yeah, it's Pam Duke. I forgot about that old episode that you redid. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for redoing that, Duke. Uh, let's see. There's the samples. I've been taking 9,000 milligrams the last 15 years without a problem. Also, my family. Oh, good. Um, have you ever been contacted by them? No, not directly. I think I've had phone calls and other things in the past that have been monitored by them. Folks, we're going to wrap it up here in a few minutes, so we're going to kind of we're going to kind of go through the last few questions here. James the Squirrel, you can't say, but have you ever been contacted by certain government agency regarding your channel? It wouldn't surprise me. I'd love to know too. Have you looked into Pasadena, California? Yes, it's a little city northwest of me. No, I've heard Pasadena about hauntings before, but yeah, I really don't know much about that. I'm gonna have to look into that. There's just so much different stuff. Look how active Bob Gimlin is still, and he is in his 80s. Yeah, you're talking Bob Gimlin, the YouTube channel, or Bob Gimlin, the Patterson Gimlin film guy? Yeah, I've met him. He's a man. I wish I was as spry as him at 80s. He still rides horses every day. Bob Gimlin's awesome. All right, let's get to the last few questions here. Mannequins, the point to pick is that the great potential at the point of the pick is it's a great defensive weapon. If anyone can buy one and use it in the woods, I would put it any cryptids in their place. Look at one. Well, I have some hatchets and some knives and other stuff like that too. Thing is about melee weapons is you got to get close. If something's 30 feet away, you don't want it to close any ground. But if something's in your grill, wouldn't be too bad. Better to lose weight slowly. I went from 421 to 260 pounds in 5 years naturally. 30 more, and that's my goal. So keep it up. Yeah, like I said, I've lost weight before, and I've been bounced back and forth a few times. It's just so easy with junk food in modern society, especially now that we have a kid. Oh my God, that kid eats like crazy all the time anyway, and all she wants is ice cream and cookies all day long, and she's skinny as a rail. So, Woodburger Farm, Matt Squatch presents Blink twice and scratch your nose. You're being held hostage right now. No, there's nobody else here. Just my two stupid cats that are sitting on my spot on the couch. I'm not being held hostage. They they know that there's enough guns in this house that it would have to go down like Waco style. They'd probably have to burn the place down. Um, okay, let's see here. Bob is an awesome gentleman. If you ever a chance to meet him, he goes to a lot of Bigfoot conference. Thanks for the live stream. Look forward to the next one. Okay, one more here. That's why I know how that is. Okay, a lot would happen in many different ancestor societies. All right, guys, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I like to know how the Bigfoot YouTube community is interlinked. I like how the Bigfoot community. Yeah, we're all kind of big nutball family here. We go to each other's live streams and we all subscribe to everybody here. Um, Duke, Woodburger Farm, Lady in the Woods, Pam, Brown Dwarf, a whole bunch of guys. Matt Niven. I mean, we all we're all part of the same thing. I've got a bunch of subscribers and they followed me from the beginning. Yeah, it's really cool. It's an awesome part of the community. So I'm gonna go ahead and peace out here, folks. You stay safe in the woods. All right.